This is Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Good evening, boys and girls, scholars and laymen, ladies and gents, to the woke and the unwoke. Welcome to another wonderful, infotaining, edutating edition of The Art of It Stinks, the Thought Provocateur. This is We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Brother Ron trying to get back in the swing of things, trying to be a little bit more consistent with the droppings of these podcasts, these truth-telling sessions, and things to make you think. Thank you all. And I had did recently Little Richard. So much stuff going on in the world, so much on my mind. A lot of things come through me. I want to get it through me to out to the world so y'all can digest. One thing I forgot about my marathon Little Richard thing, right? Because he's Little Richard. I'm trying to get people to understand that Little Richard, a lot of things worked through Little Richard to get out there. He was the spirit of the music of rock and roll. He was as far as my mind goes, its greatest ambassador as far as the people he affected and influenced. I forgot to mention that Billy Preston, the great R&B giant ensemble, Billy Preston, the first music act to perform on Saturday Night Live. He was the first music act on Saturday Night Live. But he was a phenomenal, gifted artist. He worked with Little Richard as well. So that, and he's also considered the fifth Beatle. You know, like, and he's a black guy, but the Beatles really had a liking towards Billy Preston. But anyway, let me get to this. Recently they premiered the Andre Harrell tribute. I mean, 2020 has really been tough. Lost a lot of iconic figures, history makers, and innovators this year, and we're just not even halfway through the year yet. This is like making 2016 look like child's play. Think about all the icons we lost in 2016. David Bowie, Prince, Muhammad Ali, Gordie Howe, the GOAT of hockey. So many people then, you know, Debbie Reynolds and her daughter Carrie Fisher, and George Michael, Fidel Castro. This is like one of those years. This is like 2020 is what 2012 was supposed to be. I think this is really the Mayan doomsday year, 2020. Because, it's the games they play. But like Baba Dick always say, pray or meditate at noon for the truth to come out. And there's a lot of truth coming out this year. You know, it's 2020 as in 2020 vision. You see how it works. So I want to talk about, I talked about Andre Harrell, who was a mentor to a lot of great acts. He, founded and ran Uptown Records, which really created the blueprint for 90s music as it relates to R&B, New Jack Swing, hip hop, the marriage of hip hop and R&B. Think about Andre Harrell. He signed the 18-year-old Mary J. Blige, this unknown, who did a cover of a Anita Baker standard in the mall recording booth. And her mom's boyfriend at the time got the tape to Jeff Reed, who worked as A&R for Andre Harrell at Uptown, I believe. And the rest, as they say, is history. This guy, by that alone, if that's all he ever did, if all Andre Harrell ever did was introduce the world to Mary J. Blige, he is worthy to be remembered and to be honored. So they did a special thing this Sunday, May 24th, to honor brother Andre Harrell, who we lost, I believe, on Thursday night, May the 7th. Some sources say May the 8th. It's hard. It's crazy because it was the DJ D Nice who broke the news on Instagram. So he became, I guess he's the new TMZ, because he told the world that, Andre Harrell passed. So some sources say May the 7th, the Thursday, or Friday, May the 8th. But he's passed. He was 59 years young. I think he would have turned 60 sometime this year, later on this year. His ex said he had heart problems he was dealing with. But Andre Harrell, as we all should know, he signed Jodeci. Uptown, think about Jodeci. Ooh, yeah! All that stuff, right? JoJo, KC, Devontae Swain, and his brother Mr. Dalvin, right? His name Mr. Dalvin or Delvin, whatever. But think about Usher Raymond as a little teenager starting off. He started out with Uptown with Andre Harrell, Heavy D and the boys. Got nothing but love for you, baby. Today's his birthday, of all things. May 24th is Heavy D's birthday as I'm doing this recording. There's so many, so many of my childhood memories owes its soundtrack to what Andre Harrell did at Uptown. Then let's get to one of his greatest discoveries. He was the Jegna for Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, Puffy, P. Diddy, whatever you call him. Sean Combs, love him or hate him, he is an icon in the culture. I mean, Sean Combs is Sean Combs made his mark in this world. But I'm thinking about with Sean Combs, as with the passing of Andre Harrell, who was his mentor, or I call Jegnas. I don't call him mentors, I call him Jegna. That's Jegna. We lost Heavy D back in 2011, November 2011, right? We lost also Kim Porter, who was the baby mama and so much more to Puffy. She had 3 kids by Puff Daddy. She was found tragically dead at the age of 47, too young, back in November 2018 in her home in L.A., in Los Angeles area, I believe. They said she died from pneumonia. I'm thinking, is there a Diddy curse? I mean, is Puff Daddy cursed? Did he make that deal? Because it's like a lot of people around him connected to his career died premature deaths. They died in unusual ways. Like my mentor, my Jegna, Mr. Emerson, the late great Emerson A.L.L. Jr., who was the Jegna for Isaac Hayes in high school. He kicked him out the high school band at Manassas, ended up working for Isaac Hayes at Stax in the Isaac Hayes movement, worked for the great Sammy Davis Jr., worked for so many icons in the field. Longtime music educator Mr. Emerson A.L.L. Jr. used to tell me, Ron, nobody dies a natural death in show business. Once again, nobody dies a natural death in show business. Or in the words of the late great Biggie Smalls, whose birthday was on May 21st, you're nobody till somebody kills you. So I'm thinking about Puffy, man. Really think about, is there a Diddy curse? Is there a Diddy curse, a Puffy curse? You think about, in sports, curses are infamous, right? You think about the curse of the Bambino. When the Red Sox had Babe Ruth, when he was a young guy, Hercules built, Hercules, no fat, was an amazing, dominant, left-handed pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. They won, I want to say they won 3 World Series with the Babe. And he was an amazing bat as well. We all know about his home run legacy. But they traded Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees, one of the greatest deals of all time in sports history. But when they traded the Ruth, they had a drought for decades. They never won a World Series until they won one back, I want to say, what that 2004, when they broke through. The Red Sox finally won a World Series since trading Babe Ruth to the Yankees. But they said it was the curse of the Bambino, where they traded Babe Ruth. And Babe Ruth, although he had great success with the Yankees, it kind of like, he became fat. He was not allowed to become a manager once he retired, or a player manager, whatever like that. And he died of lung cancer on August the 16th, 1948, at the too young age of 53. August 16th, that's an amazing death date, because he shares the death date of August the 16th with Robert Johnson, who died 10 years before the Babe in 38. Then you got Elvis Presley in 1977. Then you got Aretha Franklin in 2018. So, it's funny, all these people that died on their date of August the 16th, they were known as the king or queen of their industry. They were known as the best of the best, or the goat of the goats. So that's something that y'all should think about. But Puffy, when he bust on us, even back in '91, City College event, some type of charity event he held at City College in New York, and it caused a stampede was caused at the event, killing 9 people. 9 people were crushed to death at the event. This is '91, before he, started Bad Boy and signed the likes of Craig Mack and Notorious B.I.G. People forget about Craig Mack. Ha! Flavor in your ear. Brand new flavor in your ear. Got the brand new flavor for your ear. Craig Mack just died crazy down south. Born again, died crazy, right? He was like really the first artist to really set up the foundation for the success of Bad Boy. Even before Biggie, then Biggie, Ready to Die, one of the all-time great hip-hop classics for a first album, is up there with Illmatic, one of the all-time Doggy Style debut albums of an artist, it's up there. Hell, I even put Tupac up there, and people might not agree, but Brenda's Got a Baby, come on. But he died at 24. Come on, man. Notorious B.I.G. died at 24, March 9th, 1997. I ain't gonna never forget where I was and what I was doing when I heard the news of B.I.G. dying in Los Angeles. Just 6 months after the passing of Tupac Shakur in Las Vegas. And all these people I'm naming, they connected to Puffy. Tupac helped, set up B.I.G. in the early days of his career. He was connected with Puffy, and he was at the Quad Studio when he got shot. He thought that Puffy and Big was in on what happened to him, or they knew about information that could have helped him avoid that travesty or tragedy of getting shot in the Quad Studios lobby and almost getting killed. So, all these connections, like, Craig Mack is gone, right? Biggie is gone. Kim Porter dead. Faith Evans. Also, with artists, I noticed a trend. If you stay too long with Puffy, your career gets the life squeeze out of it. It seems like it's a thing. Like, you look, for example, you compare the careers of Mary J. Blige with Faith Evans. Faith Evans is a great singer, to me, in my opinion, my humble. She is a great singer. But I believe what happened to her, the reason why she's not as big as she could have been up there with Mary J. or Whitney Houston. But she had Puffy. She stayed too long at Bad Boy. If she left Bad Boy at a certain time, left Puffy, she could have blown up. Think about, what if Usher stayed with Puffy instead of, going his own way? My way. He did it his way, my way. If Usher stayed with, because Usher started out with Puffy and them, with Jodeci, all them at Uptown. I think he was at Uptown. Y'all can correct me. Don't really care. But I remember back in the day when Puffy was Usher was a teenager or a preteen or a teenager. He did stuff for this song It's Only a Sexual Thing with Devontae producing. Remember that? I want to say that was Puffy driving the car he was dancing on or laying on top of. I think that was Puffy in the video. Probably was Puffy, but he was connected to Puffy. But he outgrew that phase and went on to do some major things. Usher is still doing this thing. Amazing discography of hits. But what if he had stayed with Puffy? Would he have been as big as he is now? Would he have been an icon like Mary J. Blige is? If they had stayed with Puffy like Faith Evans? Think about, man, one of the underrated R&B acts, Carl Thomas. We didn't get Carl Thomas until Puffy got in trouble, I believe. Carl Thomas' album, I Wish I Never Met Her at All. When did it come out, y'all? Did it come out in 99 or 2000? One of the best R&B albums of the last 20 years, in my humble opinion. Whatever happened to Carl Thomas? He come out with that amazing album, and I heard he was just on Bad Boy for a minute before that was released. But it wasn't until Puffy got in trouble that he released that album, from my understanding. So, Carl Thomas, we don't hear from him. It's been almost 20 years. Let's say it's 20 years. And we have yet to hear what happened to Carl Thomas. Like I said, maybe if he was signed with somebody else, we probably heard. Maybe he signed with Babyface, LaFace. I don't know. Think about the Locks. Their troubles with Puffy was well publicized in the media. This is before the days of social media. The Locks, Jadakiss, Styles, and the other brother. That was phenomenal, man. I remember 24 Hours to Live with DMX. That's classic, posse cut, man. They had, Jadakiss, Styles, and Louch. I believe, I don't know, y'all correct me, but they had their issues with Puffy, right? It was very well publicized. Their contractual issues and obligations with Puffy, even with Mace. Man, Mace was phenomenal. Man, people try to write Mace out of the history books, man. The album he first came out, Mace, Harlem World, that's a classic, man. I don't care what, like, he basically set the table for things to come. Could there be a Drake without a Mace? Man, Mace had a great run, and he retired at the height of his run. He went to the Lord. Jesus is calling. He did that Little Richard Al Green thing where he had these strings of hits, and he left Bad Boy, and basically left his publishing on the table. Puffy, what did he have over Puffy for him to get out of that contract? Because a lot of folks didn't leave Bad Boy unless they were leaving in a body bag. You know what I'm saying? Or they were leaving, and they got some type of blackball from the industry. Look at the Locks. Locks never had a great success once they left Bad Boy. Now, Jadakiss had some great success as a solo artist, but you could make an argument that the Locks never blew up like they should have blown up with the talent that they had, the collective talent. So, I mean, Puffy's he does blood sacrifices. Like, this is ritual for Puffy. Like I said, is there a Diddy curse? This is something that y'all should look at. For example, I mean, Puffy Daddy was allegedly notorious drug dealer in Harlem, the contemporary of Nicky Barnes and Frank Lucas and Frank Matthews. And they say he had his head blown off when Puffy was 3 years old. Think about that. Think about the stuff I'm putting out there. You know what I'm saying? And go research this. Take a look. It's all online. Like I said, think about, I'm missing Mace, right? Think about even the nightclub shooting back in '97 with J.Lo and Shine, when they got into that shootout, or two people got injured. Shine shot this guy named Julio or Julius Jones in the shoulder, and Shine alleged the guy was trying to shoot at Puffy, or somebody from his entourage was trying to shoot at Puffy, and he actually shot the guy and wounded him in the shoulder in self-defense. And also that night, another person was in Puffy's entourage was there that night at the nightclub shooting in Midtown Manhattan was Anthony Wolf Jones, the infamous Anthony Wolf Jones, one of Puffy's childhood friends, longtime bodyguard, Mr. Controversy. Man, the man's nicknamed Wolf. I mean, he was a certified street goon legend. When people talk about the crazy days of 90s hip hop, he plays a infamous or prominent figure. If that movie ever is told, it's gonna be interesting to see who they get to play Anthony Wolf Jones, a very infamous figure and a Puffy loyalist. And he was involved in that, and they got off, because Puffy and company was represented by Johnny Cochran, the late great Johnny Cochran, and the great mob lawyer Benjamin Brafman, I believe his name is. And even some years before that, when Puffy entourage was involved in an incident after a Jermaine Dupri birthday party back in September of '95 in Atlanta, when Puffy's entourage, Bad Boy, got into it with Suge entourage, Death Row entourage, at that Jermaine Dupri birthday party. They end up killing one of Suge's guys, a guy named Jake Robles. I believe his name was Jake Robles, Big Jake Robles, got shot 2 or 3 times, I believe, by one of Puffy's people, allegedly. It was witnessed by a security guard who was also a Atlanta police officer. He witnessed the whole thing. He said somebody from Puffy's entourage actually shot to death Jake Robles. Now, Jake didn't die right away. He ended up dying some days later, from my understanding, from what I read. But he was shot that night, September of 1995, post Jermaine Dupri birthday party. And a lot of people have the long suspected the person who actually shot him to be Anthony Wolf Jones. So it's the Anthony Wolf Jones. And then Anthony Wolf Jones was killed back in November, I believe November 11, 2003, outside of a Atlanta nightclub. It's something about Atlanta and these nightclubs, man. You get a lot of people in trouble. Think about Ray Lewis, what happened to him during the Super Bowl down in Atlanta. They end up knifing, or allegedly killed 2 guys, I believe. And he got off for it, and he started going to the Lord. Jesus is calling once again. Deacon Ray Preacher Ray, Killer Ray, whatever you want to call him, found Jesus and whatever. But yeah, Wolf Jones was killed along with his friend. They said it was fighting over a woman. I think he was in love with a stripper or something like this, like some T-Pain stuff. And the person who allegedly shot our brother Anthony Wolf Jones was Big Meech. The man they know as Big Meech, the founder of the notorious Black Mafia family. Big Meech from Southwest Detroit, who was denied early release due to the coronavirus from the federal penitentiary. That Big Meech, the one who was rapping, who discovered and invested in the career of Young Jeezy. That Big Meech, Black Mafia, they say he the one that allegedly shot Anthony Wolf Jones. It was all over a woman. Same old story, right? Woman. That, it ain't fun that the homies can't have none. Like, stuff always get you all the time. But yeah, that's Puffy Bodyguard. That's back in November 2003. So is he a casualty of the Diddy curse? Think about Shine. It's sad how Shine got done. Shine, to me, was a ride or die guy. I actually liked Shine when he came out. Shine. People say he sounded like Biggie. He had the little Pac thing going on. Bishop from Juice kind of thing going on. He had the Biggie flow. But he was like, I think if he never got in trouble, he could have been an all-time great, really. Because he got to a really good start with his debut and with them songs they put out. But, some people would say that Puffy put his album out as a distraction from the trial. He was fighting for his life at that point. But Shine is another victim of the Diddy curse. He was a casualty of the Diddy curse. Here's a guy, he kept that shot, from my understanding, to protect the lives of Jennifer and Puff. If he didn't do that, it's quite possibly Puffy and Jennifer Lopez could have died that night. We would know J-Lo as J-Lo. We should be known as Jennifer Lopez. We had a lot of promise. We wouldn't know her as the J-Lo. Think about all the stuff we would have missed out on from Jennifer Lopez had she died that night, December 27, 1999. Man, that's before September 11 happened. That's almost a good 2 years, almost before September 11. So Shine, man, he didn't snitch on nobody, man. Got 10 years, did it. Most of the 10 years in prison, did a decade almost in prison before getting released, and got deported back to Belize. And did ride or die guy, man. Here we are in 2020. We are celebrating snitching, and we celebrating somebody like Tekashi 6ix9ine, who got out early and brought down a whole organization. His guy being, I'll call it agent provocateur, going around the country, disrespecting folks in their neighborhoods and their communities. Just really being a jokester and a court jester. And then when he does the crime, he don't want to do the time. He crying and snitching and telling everybody he celebrated, getting all type of live stream racket numbers. People buying his stuff. He's an icon still in the game. So but think about what Shine sacrificed almost a little bit 20 years earlier. Shine should have got the same treatment, if not more than what Tekashi 6ix9ine is getting today, but everything is upside down now. So yeah, Shine career, along with his voice, is gone. But I would say he's a survivor. He's still doing stuff in his respective country, trying to build up the new music industry there, working with the government. I think his dad at one point was a high place. I want to say he was maybe a vice prime minister or something like that in Belize. But look all that up. It's interesting. Even the cat that Shine, from my understanding, shot in the shoulder that night at the nightclub. I think his name is Julius Jones. I think he ended up getting killed maybe several years later in an unrelated incident. I think somebody shot him in the head several times. I think he was also a friend of the rapper Foxy Brown. But you can probably find out on the internet. I heard that from somebody's podcast. I don't know. But, it's just funny that the shelf life of a lot of people around Diddy is not that long. they expire pretty soon before their prime. So I just think that that's something that people should look into. Like I talked about Kim Porter. I mean, she died under questionable circumstances. I know it said pneumonia, but like my friend Mr. Abel said, nobody dies of natural death in show business. So there's a lot of people around Puffy that's really been dropping like flies over the last, basically, almost 30 years. If you include the Stampede tragedy, when them people got crushed to death, 9 people got crushed to death at that event organized by Puffy at City College, if you include that. So it'll be interesting. I just want to know what you all think about that. Even with Biggie, in hindsight, Puffy really, if you believe what you see and what you hear and what you research over the years, Puffy is a gangster, man. Puffy is a gangster. This man slapped Drake and got away with it. This man beat down Steve Stout over You Can Hate Me Now video because how he was portrayed as a Christ-like figure. Nobody made Puffy get on that, cross or whatever, carry his cross in that video by Nas. But he beat down Steve Stout, beat him down, man. Hurt the brother, man. Allegedly. I like to say allegedly. Man, Puffy, man, it's like, wow. Even you listen to Gene Deal, it's amazing that Gene Deal is still around. The former bodyguard who was there the night that Biggie got shot, the former bad boy bodyguard who was there the night in Los Angeles, because Anthony Wolf Jones allegedly not even want to go out to L.A. He said, if I go out to L.A., I got to bring a whole goon squad. So he wanted Puffy, let's travel across the country via, y'all can fly a plane, but let me bring several busloads of goons that's loyal to me out in L.A. to protect us, because this is not a good time to go to L.A. I don't know why Puffy would put his artists in that harm's way unless, Biggie was going to be the blood sacrifice. Why would Puffy go out 6 months after Pop getting killed? Then you putting out songs like you got Biggie on the radio with Sway or whoever reciting the lyrics to his Long Kiss Goodnight. Anybody would come and say, no, that's about Tupac. Because even you said at the end, we ain't talking about no other rappers. We talking about you, NF'er. But he was already dead. But you put that out anyway. And then, like the names of the albums, Biggie, your words create worlds. Dr. Black would say, your words create worlds. The first album was Ready to Die. Then your second album was what, Biggie? Life After Death. And when does it come out? After you dead. You're nobody to somebody kills you. So why would Puffy put his artists in that harm's way instead of letting him? Because Biggie was supposed to go to Europe, I believe to England or somewhere in Europe to do a performance for about 5 figures. But instead, Puffy said, no, you go to L.A. and you can go to the Vibe Party. And Tupac was allegedly engaged to Kadada Jones. That's what they say. But I didn't hear him talking about that. If you go by Frank Alexander, it was just another one of his girls. Because Tupac was getting around. But according to other people, they allegedly, even Kadada Jones, who had a Tupac tattoo on her arm, I think she got it removed recently, they were engaged. But Tupac probably saw it as another jump off. Tupac had women all around. You know what I'm saying? He had more women than some NRA members got guns. You know what I'm saying? He was just only 25 when he died, man. That man lived life to the fullest. But why would you put your cash cow in harm's way like that? You in enemy territory. But here's the thing, though. Why nobody ever question? I mean, it's been well documented. You can find this online. Take a look. It's online that Puffy utilized the Southside Crips as his security out on the West Coast. The Southside Crips. He utilized them. You talking about this guy named Keefy D. Allegedly, he's the only person that's still alive who was in that white Cadillac with the alleged assassins of Tupac. He's the only one. They say his nephew Orlando Anderson pulled the trigger, but you can understand. I mean, it's like it's so LA confidential. I mean, if you in the car with the guys that allegedly killed Tupac, and then you got this connection with Puffy, where your people supplying security for Puffy while he's on the West Coast. Puffy's all in this, man, and yet he celebrated. Nobody questions it, even though you got all this paper trail stuff. You got all these people with books. And even Death Row, a lot of people died early. It's crazy. Nobody can make it to 50 except for a certain few people. Think about Snoop. Snoop is tight with Puffy, from my understanding. But Snoop, and a lot of people died around Snoop. You know, he was definitely not. I mean, it is weird, man. These cats, man. Even if you think about most recently, Nipsey Hussle. I think on his last album, Victory Lap, I think Puffy produced some of the songs, but you got, footage of Puffy with Nipsey, hanging out and all this stuff. Now Nipsey gone. Snoop still around. Puff still around. P. Diddy, whatever. Nipsey gone, man. Nipsey gone. So you got a lot of true G's, a lot of real ride or die cats that have been sacrificed at the altar of P. Diddy. For whatever reason, I don't know. I'm not saying, I just think people should have an open mind to this. Why so many people dying before their time around Diddy? What is that about, man? Why would he put... Notorious had an injury, man. He had a broken leg, from my understanding. Why do you put your artist in their harm's way without enough security around him? That is weird, man. Ain't nobody never question. I mean, like... These folks be hiding. I mean, this 2020 thing has put a lot of things in perspective. Even G-Dep. Y'all remember Special Delivery? This man turned himself in for a murder. He couldn't live with the guilt no more. He turned himself in. He killed somebody way back. This is around the time with Special Delivery. All this stuff came out. I think he killed somebody. I don't know if he... I read one version of the story that he did not know that the guy he shot died. But after years of just living his life and found it out, he finally turned himself in. What happened to Black Rob? Whoa. You remember Whoa? Puffy had all the anthems, all about the Benjamins. What happened to these people? What happened to Little Kim? Who is that person that they call Little Kim? You see what I'm saying? All these folks, man. Just think, y'all. Just look at what I'm saying. Do research. Why is it that so many people meet their demise hanging with the Puffy, hanging with the Diddy? I mean, what type of deal did he make? I mean, Puffy's up there. I think a Puff Daddy or P. Diddy, he one of them kids that might live a long, long time. Is he a bloodsucker? Is he a vampire? I think about Clyde Davis. I think about Berry Gordy. I think about Quincy Jones. All these people work with everybody, and a lot of people that they work with died crazy, or they no longer here. They died prematurely. The fact that Clyde Davis is a mentor to Puffy, Arista, Bad Boy, all that stuff. When P. Diddy, Puffy, he said, we in that line all about the Benjamin stack chips like Hebrews, right? And Clyde Davis was furious that he would make a reference to Jews in that song. It was no derogatory thing. Even with Michael Jackson, a Jew me, sue me. That was been anti-Semitic. Do they know who the real Jews are? The Hebrews? They know who we are? Do we know who we are? So how can he be anti-Semitic when he's, anyway, but I think Puffy in later versions of this song took their part out, stacked chips like Hebrews, right? Even when LeBron James said something reference to, I forgot the rapper, getting money like Hebrews or something. I don't know, whatever. But it don't make a difference. But what I'm saying is, all this offensive, negative stuff about black women and black people in these songs. But the thing that really pissed off Clyde Davis was that line, stacked chips like Hebrews. And Clyde Davis was the handler of Whitney Houston. And you see what he thought about Whitney. We all figure out what he really thought about Whitney the night she died at the Beverly Hills Hotel. He did not cancel his annual pre-Grammy party. They party all night long while the cold, naked body of Whitney Houston was laying on the floor in the upstairs, in the upper room. The upper room. They was partying all night long. All night long. But Shaka Khan had enough sense to say, I can't party. This is not right. But she was nothing but a blood sacrifice. Whitney was nothing but a blood sacrifice. Y'all gotta remember that who was this cat Lucifer before he was a fallen angel? What was his job, his position in heaven? He was a master musician. He was a charmer. So the music is powerful, y'all. The music, that's why they do so much to control the artist through drugs and all types of things, because they want to control the vibrations, the frequency. That's what they do. That's why you don't hear what we need to hear. That's why I know there's a difference in the music today The artists are very talented, and people say they're not. They are talented. It's brilliant artists operating today, but they made those deals where they are beholden to the powers that be because they want to be a part of that cabal, that club, that group. So this stuff is very much real, and people gotta understand that they don't want to get certain things to get out. Like Tupac, that's why he was so conflicted. I mean, Tupac had some powerful music. I mean, you think about some of the anthems he put out there. People keep on focusing. Well, he wasn't lyrical. Tupac was very lyrical. I'm sorry. He had lyrics. He was very lyrical. He had a melody. Like I say, to me, he's in the same class as a Billie Holiday, as a Miles Davis, as a Curtis Mayfield, as a Sam Cooke. He had some memorable lyrics, man. Like Stevie Wonder, great lyricist. But there's either here or there. I mean, but you think about the message. Broken glass everywhere. You know, all this stuff talking about what's going on in the hood. Stuff been compromised, y'all. We've been compromised. This is what Dr. King said so many years ago before he died. We have integrated into a burning house. We have lost our identity. We lost our way. We lost our moral compass because we chasing the wrong things. We're putting value on the wrong things as a collective as well as individuals. It's time to reclaim our narrative, reclaim all that. But you got to ask yourself, what deal did Puffy make, man? Puffy's like a black Citizen Kane. What is his Rosebud? Yeah, y'all. And I know, like, what's Citizen Kane? That's a film made by Orson Welles that was allegedly based on the life of William Randolph Hearst, who ran the big, multimedia conglomerate, the Hearst media empire. So basically, Rosebud, some connection to his childhood. Who did this to Puff, man? Why is P. Diddy the way he is, man? I don't know Puffy personally, but I think that it's like, people talk about the Clinton body count, Bill and Hillary Clinton, all the people that have died around them in questionable, mysterious, and suspect ways. Why not the same scrutiny with Puffy or P. Diddy? And why not question him about his connection to Biggie and Pac's murder? Was Puffy the intended target instead of Big? I mean, like, why did he put Big in harm's way like that? It's interesting. And I love this social media infrastructure. Like, all this stuff is coming out now. People, the conscience been bothering them for years. Now they're putting their truths out there. What happened the night of March the 9th, 1997? What happened the night of September the 7th, 1996? And so many other dates in our time in history. But my thing is, you got to have the spirit to discern what is fact and fiction. And we got to start developing our third eye and trusting our intuition when it deals with matters of the heart and the mind and the body and spirit. This is definitely spiritual warfare, but the question must be asked, why so many bodies are dropping around Diddy? Why? Like, well, Mike said, tell him it's human nature, right? Isn't human nature to be like this? But if Puffy can live with it, more power to him. But you think about, okay, Jimmy the Henchman. Puffy got a connection with Jimmy the Henchman, right? I mean, they in the same industry, business. It's a dirty business, man. The music industry always been mobbed up. It's always been corrupt. But like a elder once told me, man, sometimes things are as corrupted or as good and clean as you want them to be. A lot of these things come down to choices that we make as individuals and what we choose to do or not to do. So, but it's interesting because even Mace, he did that recent Bad Boy anniversary tour, and he called out P. Diddy because Diddy got his publishing. He signed away his publishing to Puffy. Puffy's living good off of people's catalogs, but that's the nature of the beast. It's like this old saying, don't hate the player, hate the game. That's the way the game is played. That's why Barry Gordy can eat the way he eat. That's why Puffy, Quincy Jones, Clyde Davis, they understand how the game is played. And, they eating and they folks for generations can eat, but it's a dirty, dirty business, man. But, Mace don't even have his publishing. It's like a Little Richard thing. He did the Little Richard thing. He left. Heard Jesus was calling. He answered the call. Left money on the table. Left things on the table. But the question must be asked, what did he know about Puffy to get out that deal? And this Diddy curse is not something that I came up with. This has been floating around for years. Think about, making the band. When he, for the infamous or famous scene where Puffy forced them to walk to Brooklyn to Junior's. Well, Junior's is called Junior's. You get some of that cheesecake. He forced on people to walk to juniors, the people that was trying to make the band, make the cut. When did that Making the Band come out? What, 2003, 2004? Now it's 2020. Where are those people now? Did they make the cut? Did they become legends or icons after they walked across the Brooklyn Bridge to get that cheesecake from Junior's? Where are they now? Was it worth it? You know what I'm saying? Think about what I'm saying. Puffy used that as another way to stay relevant, to keep his name out there. So who has Puffy created that actually stayed for him for a long, long time, that actually blew up to there's a very iconic status? Biggie was not with Puffy for a long, long time. He died at 24. You know, it took him a couple years for his second album to come out even. What's that about? You know what I'm saying? So, it's interesting, man. It's fascinating. But I want to read, I'm going to close it out. If you like the words from Brother Herb, please spread the word. But let me read something about Puffy from The Voice. The Village Voice, I think. Yeah, The Village Voice. They wrote an article about Puffy. Back in March 2001, March 27, 2001, The Bad Boy Curse. Somebody want to read some excerpts. You can find this online, The Village Voice. The Bad Boy Curse by Peter Noel. Or Peter Noel. Noel. That's his last name. Came out March 27, 2001. After Puffy was acquitted in that nightclub shooting. But Shine was still awaiting sentencing. I think they sentenced him on April 16, 2001. The 10 years in prison. And he did that time, man. That's why I said, we, celebrate the snitch. Like Jay-Z said, he respects the shooter in one of his songs, right? But we don't know, we celebrate the snitch. But let me see. I'm gonna read some of this. The Bad Boy Curse by Peter Noel, March 27, 2001. Can be found on the Village Voice website, villagevoice.com. It is absolutely ridiculous for anyone to blame me for anyone else's actions. From a statement by Sean Puffy Combs. Both admirers and opponents of Sean Puffy Combs have pointed out that people around him wind up dead, seriously injured, in jail, or bail out of Bad Boy Entertainment, the hip-hop strongman's music citadel. Guns, shoot-em-ups, thuggery, bribery, shady business dealings, all real or imagined, seem to be hallmarks of Combs' troubled history. Some are calling a recent spate of incidents, including the Club New York shooting, the Bad Boy Curse, speculating that the roots of this tree of tragedy, from which Combs estimated $400 million entertainment, clothing, and restaurant empire springs, run deep. Combs and his bodyguard, Anthony Wolf Jones, were acquitted on March 16th of illegal gun possession and bribery charges stemming from the December 1999 shooting at the Times Square nightclub. But since 1991, nearly 20 people have been struck by the Bad Boy Curse, including Natanya Ebony Rubin, Julius Jones, and Robert Thompson, the three victims of the Club New York shooting. The notorious b.i.g, Combs' sidekick and a reputed Don of gangster rap, who was gunned down execution style in Los Angeles in 1997. A rub out, some say, was intended for Combs. Steve Stout, a record executive beaten by Combs and crew in a baseball bat attack. And 9 people who were crushed to death at a 1991 charity basketball game that Combs organized at City College in Harlem. In addition, 2 of Combs' top bad boy acts left his label. Multi-platinum rapper Mace found religion, and the highly regarded Locks found a new record company. When you see me, don't ask me nothing about us, and don't definitely ask me about Puffy. The Locks' kiss scoffs in a 2000 rap called Blood Pressure. Now add to this list 21-year-old Jamal Shine Barrow, the gangster rapper who was convicted of 2 counts of assault, 2 gun possession charges, and 1 count of reckless endangerment in the Club New York case. In an exclusive interview with The Voice 1 week before the verdict, published last week, Barrow lashed out at Combs, accusing his former idol of shunning and ultimately betraying him to save himself. It is widely believed in gangster rap circles that Barrow, who admitted in the closing days of the trial that he had a gun, pulled his gat, a 9mm Ruger loaded with hollow point bullets, only after a player hater fired a shot meant for Combs, saying he couldn't take it anymore after he heard one witness allegedly lie to protect Combs. Barrow demanded that Combs release him from his contract with Bad Boy Entertainment. In the wake of the verdict, many in the hip-hop community do not have nice things to say about the once vaunted king of rap. Just think about it, says a music industry insider who knows Combs well. This is somebody who has one of the biggest record labels. He is a self-made millionaire, but everybody who gravitates to him fears their demise and wants to get the hell away from him. Some critics have labeled Combs a modern-day Berry Gordy, but the comparison is hardly a flattering one. A lot of the artists made Gordy and Motown Records enormously wealthy, but Florence Ballard of the Supremes died on welfare with nothing. That's the type of mentality that people on the streets have about Puffy, says this source. So this is like worth reading. I just read, parts of it. But think about this. This came to my mind. Sean is now an Orthodox Jew. He's a Hebrew Orthodox Jewish person, right? So many of the former artists at Bad Boy went to religion. I didn't talk about Loon, the rapper Loon, who's supposed to have been a replacement for Mace, I guess. Loon became a Muslim. Sean became a Jew. Mace became a Christian. I'm not laughing. Craig Mack became a Christian. All these guys answered the call to religion after dealing with Puffy or P. Diddy, whatever you call himself these days. But it's not just, it's the industry. It's not just Puffy. It's the industry. What is it about that industry that makes people go find religion? But Bad Boy, he has a lot of people associated with Bad Boy. They up there finding religion, turn themselves in for murders, for cold cases. They just say, I can't deal with myself no more. I got to turn myself, I got to punish myself. So I say all this to say, everything that glitters is not gold. Everything that glitters is not gold. Everything that shines is not a diamond. Everything that shines is not a diamond. So, yeah, this is something that's been on my mind. And some other things I have on my mind, but I just want to get that out there while I can. But it's amazing. I'm doing this on May 24th, the birthday of the late, great Heavy D. Got nothing but love for you, baby. But he died way too young. But these are cats that have been associated. I'm not saying that Diddy had anything to do with it on it, but I'm saying, but it's interesting that death really follows P. Diddy everywhere he goes. Especially it hits his circle real hard. But resting in honor and peace and glory, brother Andre Harrell. But I just think it's fascinating that people that associate with Diddy, a lot of them meet very untimely demises. So if you like the words from Brother Herb, please spread the word. Subscribe to the griot while you still can at We All Be TV. That's all just one thing. We All Be TV on YouTube. Support the movement because information is the knowledge of the universe. Knowledge is the currency of the universe. And support the movement so we can support you all. Cash App, $R2C2H2. That's Cash App, $R2C2H2. PayPal, R2C2H2 at gmail.com. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/WeAllBe. Also, you can buy Artivist Art, R2C2H2.com. Wear Artivist gear. It's Billie Holiday. My man. Billie Holiday. That's my art. You can buy that. You see that shelf down below the video description. Teespring site, R2C2H2's place. And just thank you all once again for being there for me. This is some amazing times. Really been some trying times. But in the end, I shall survive. And I hope to wish the same for you all. Amplify blessings upon blessings upon blessings, and many thanks. In the words of the great Duke Ellington, we love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing. Peace. One love. Let me further add that Anthony Wolf Jones and his associate Lamont Gertie was killed outside the Chaos nightclub. What an appropriate name. He allegedly shot Big Meech in the back, in the rear side, and he was killed, him and his friend. And also, this is after a party was thrown by, guess who? Jermaine Dupri and So Def. It was a So Def party, and so much death occurred. You see how it works. No, you got to look at Jermaine Dupri now. What's going on with Jermaine Dupri as well? And he's connected to Puffy. But twice tragedy struck twice during a Jermaine Dupri event. So that's something to think about. But anyway, just want to throw that in there. It's kind of, man, you can't make this stuff up, folks.